Hi, friends. Hello, in the world. So, welcome to this episode of Complaint Free Life, where I will be introducing you lots of different tools that you can use in your transitioning journey so that you don't get stuck, you don't get confused, and you don't feel like you don't know what to do. And instead, you take everything into your own charge. So, one of the tools that I want to introduce today is the number four tool, that is a drama response. And the way that I thought about it is like oftentimes humanitarians talk about emergency response. And I feel like whenever we have drama in our brains, in our minds, it also feels like an emergency, only on a smaller scale in our own brains, right? So that's why I thought of introducing this in this way of a drama response. Now, I will be talking about the usual way how we handle things, and then I'll be talking about a new way to handle things if you're not familiar with it. And also, I will give you a specific example that I hear a lot from humanitarians that you can also consider for yourself to apply it as soon as you finish watching this video. So let's get clear as to what drama means in our own brains. And it's a very subjective way of labeling certain turmoil in our brains, right? The way that I want to define drama is this lots of different jumble of thoughts keep coming up that keep circling in my brain to bring this confusion, bring overwhelm, bring stuckness, or bring this feeling of, oh my God, something is wrong. I need to fix it. I have to do something about it. This is not right. This is wrong. This is not working. And whatever the way that my brain presents things in the way that's very dramatic. And excuse me, and how do I want to handle it and what do I want to do with it. So you define for yourself what your drama, excuse me, what your drama definition is. Um, but what I really want you to think about in this case is whatever the drama definition that you're having, the usual way that we tend to do things is this way, right? So we dramatize first. So we have lots of jumble of different thoughts and feelings, everything coming together around one topic or around life in general. And then we start believing our story or whatever we're telling. So automatically our brains present like myriad of thoughts, and somehow we tend to believe the ones that we don't like to believe in the first place. And of course, it's coming from an experience. So this is how my brain works. So I'm assuming if your brain works the same way that mine, then we tend to believe on the worst case scenarios most of the time, right? Or on the things that probably will cause us worry and vacillate a lot. So that's why we start then believing that whatever the drama story that our brain is presenting, we believe them like by default, and then we start reacting to that story. And that consequence of that then is that we create more of the same, more and more of the scariness, more of the things, or we freeze and don't do anything about it. And then we just avoid things, avoid dealing with it, avoid looking at it, and just hope that things just magically go back to how it was, or we start thinking more and more. So, in fact, a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they tell me that the number one thing they want to really get rid of or want to have peace from is this noise, this overthinking, this like lots of different thoughts and everything happening. And then them feeling like they need to do something, they need to like get rid of all of these things, they want to fix things, and then they don't really know how. So this is how the most of us tend to do things, or most of us react to things. Now, the way that I want to consider for you in a new way, if you haven't done it yet, or you're not familiar with, is so whenever you dramatize, this is, I'm telling you, dramatizing is seems like, I don't know, not optional, meaning our brains continue doing that at every level of our growth, at every occasion that is new or that's different. So that's why dramatizing will probably keep coming. But the best way that you can do something about it is observe it first. Now, I tend to do that now, or even in my own brain without writing it down, but usually I really highly recommend that you write them down. So once you write all of those drama things down, whatever comes to your mind, then it becomes easier to question them. So instead of immediately believing all the stories of what's happening and how it's happening and why it won't work and all the things, you can start getting curious and question it. And I suggest there are two main ways that you can question it. And you try both, and I think both of them are amazing. So one of them is always is, why am I dramatizing about this? Right? So why is it worse the drama in my head? Or because the dramatizing somehow also shows how we're not really showing trust in that moment in ourselves or in what we're doing, right? So that's why we want to get curious as to why we're dramatizing. And one of the answers may be something like, we just want to feel safe. We want to feel not worried. We want to feel that we know what we're doing and we know where we're going. So that's why this is the time maybe where you need to soothe yourself, console yourself, show compassion, show yourself a love. So this is one of the ways. And the other ways is that I have learned from my coach, Brooke Castillo, but I think many other coaches also apply this logic, which is, what are the facts in our drama? Right? What are the facts that we really want to be very neutral and having a look at it? And then what's the story we're telling ourselves around that fact? Right. So I will do an example with you now, so you will see all of this in details, but just for you to think about, okay, let me just even be clear as to what the facts are and what are the stories and narrative. Some people call it just thoughts around it. So whatever the way that you call it, like, what is the story that you are like circling it or swirling it around those facts? And then once you have that clear, then you can get to the making decision as to what are you going to do about it, of all the things that you have discovered in your jumble of thoughts and turmoil, so that you can finish that story. So that meaning you can close that chapter, right? So that it doesn't become like this what is the word I'm looking for? Like clinging, like cloudy uh, thing that keeps coming up or keeps hanging around. So instead, making a decision, but here is the key, making a decision out of trust in yourself that you are doing the right thing. You are doing this in this way because you want to do it, and not just to follow your fear-based brain of just reacting to things, right? Which oftentimes we tend to do because fear is such a strong emotion, or worry, or many other versions that fear comes up. Then we want to start like reacting to things. Instead of reacting, we keep our course of whatever we're pursuing, we keep going that way, even if our brain wants to dramatize in the process, because our brains will do, and we may just get used to it, and we may just create a process for ourselves so that we know what to do about our dramatizing brain, right? So now let's put this into practice, because the tool is as good as how we use it or how we implement it, right? So one of the examples that I put it here is transitioning won't work, is maybe one of the drama causing thought you have. There might be many others, like me, people may have something very specific, like I won't be able to make the same money, or I won't be able to have the same adventures, I won't be able to, whatever the other fears that you may have, you can also use this as a reason to dramatize. So once you have this thought, or once you have this themes, and let your brain dramatize all the things, get all of them out of it won't work because the market is not offering what I want. It won't work because I'm not good enough at whatever the market is searching for, or it won't work because the market, I'm in the job market, right? Is not going to give me the money that I want, or give me the titles, the privileges, and all the things, or the securities I want. So get all of them out, right? So once you get it out there, then you're likely to have a very much of a release. I used to do that as well. I mean, I continue still doing that as well. It's like having this relief of, okay, so these are the things that's happening that's bothering us. We know it. Now we need to get very curious as to observing it, meaning not believing all the stories that we're having, but rather being a very neutral observer and looking at all the thoughts that we're having and like, these are the things because of which I'm not moving forward, even though I want to move forward, right? But I'm not doing it because these thoughts are so scary. Very understandable. So we just need to be compassionate and loving and understanding that this is the reason why we don't want to move forward. Now, once we get observant of all the things without believing, or even if we believe, we just look at these are the things that I'm believing very strongly, therefore I'm not really moving forward. These are the thoughts that I'm believing maybe less. I can see it's optional, but maybe I need to look at it more. So once we have everything clear or everything in the open in front of us, right? Then we need to get curious and asking questions as to why am I wanting to dramatize in this case, right? Why am I wanting to dramatize about this situation? Because maybe I'm feeling it's a lot of things. Because I'm feeling that I can't really handle all of these things. Because I'm thinking it's too hard. Whatever the reasons are, then get also curious as to, okay, we know why you're dramatizing it, right? We know why you're dramatizing, and it's understandable that you're dramatizing it. So we want to be just very gentle with ourselves. And then once we experience this gentleness and this lovingness and like, yeah, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be this. I know it's going to be that. Now let's look at really the facts of what's happening here, right? The facts, probably something like, let's say one of the examples that it won't work because the market is too competitive, for instance, right? Now, if your brain offers this as a fact, it's not a fact. It's your conclusion of what you think the market is, but it's not a fact because there are so many ways we can prove that that may not be the case or that may not be true. So that's why you can find out for yourself that even your facts may not turn out to be facts. So, but the fact could be that the job you're looking for back home offers X amount of money, for instance. You want another X amount of money, and your desires don't match with the market that it's offering. Now, this is a fact. You are searching for a particular job, and that job salary is this, and the desire that you're having or the want you're having is you want this amount of money and that's not matching each other. Okay, so this is the fact. Now all the stories around it is that there won't be enough, I won't be able to provide for my family, I won't be able to lead the life I want to. All the stories are around that fact. Now that we know all of this, now we need to decide what are we going to do with that, right? So just because we see these our wanting, our goals not matching the market does not mean that we shouldn't be pursuing the transitioning we want. Or it also doesn't mean that we should be pursuing. So it's very like facts are neutral for us to then decide what we want to do about it. Now here, whenever you are deciding, then you bring back your extraordinary self that I was talking about in the previous tool. Bring your extraordinary self, not the ordinary self, because the ordinary self will be the one or is the one who's creating all of this, right? So that's why we need the extraordinary side of us that trusts, that believes in the dreams, that believes in how we can make things work and make it happen. And then when we bring this extraordinary side, and then we ask, yes, I can see all the things. I can see the facts, and here is me who's deciding what to do next about it. I'm deciding about the won't work. I will do this, I will do that, or I will stay, or I will move on, or I will do this. So get very concrete and then start making decisions. Even if you don't implement them right away, or you get scared of implementing them right away, it's okay. Just get clear and make decisions. This way, you will have the agency over what you're doing and how you're doing things instead of just flowing with the drama and the consequences of it, and then feeling like you cannot really come out, and you feeling like you can't really be helped, or you don't really know what to do, and you have no choice, or other ways that you keep dramatizing. Because my goal is for you to not dramatize it. And even if you do dramatize it, try to then decide what to do about it instead of feeling like this is how it is and you can't really do anything about it. Because I'm assuming there are many areas where we tend to do that anyway. So we may as well start learning how to be in charge of our dramas, how to do something about our brains offering these thoughts. And instead of spending so much time believing our story and just soaking up the story, let's get curious as to why we're believing that story. And if we don't want to believe that story, what other story we want to believe? And then start working on that story. Okay, my dears, it was a pleasure to have this video done for you. And I'm sorry that I did it in the evening because I was afraid I won't have time to do that tomorrow. But I hope that you can still get lots of tools and ideas for you to start implementing now. And even if you're not thinking of transitioning or you're not in that area, apply this to any other questions or topics that you're having. And if you want coaching on this, please come over. I would love to coach you and get you to the decision that you're really wanting. Okay, have an amazing week.